If you've ever need something to listen to while you're doing the dishes, do I have the album for you? Can you put that on the album as a selling point?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Dishwasher approved.
What is the term you used earlier? Bedroom rock?
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
that? I don't know what that means.
I,
It's really hard. I struggle with all the labels, but yeah.
and so you have that, and now you have dishwasher rock, where it's just you know
Oh,
what.
dude, that's actually perfect. Exactly. I
It,
mean, I've worked a lot of crazy jobs in my life, and one
yeah.
of them has been actually two of them have been dishwasher jobs at two different
Mm.
restaurants. I
So
think I got
so no
fired from
wonder.
both of them.
Oh, I was gonna say no wonder you injected that into your music because you got that experience, you got that life experience.
Yeah, there's a certain groove you gotta have while you're washing dishes. You know, if you can imagine a little hip shake and elbows.
Welcome every. Oh my gosh! Welcome everybody to episode number 420 of Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, Chris. I'm sorry that cough threw me off. I'm not even a smoker. I just couldn't do it. Man, I'm sorry. This is a. Well, is this an appropriate way to start off episode number 420? I think so. So, once again, doing the message of the podcast be good to yourself. I'm adding that one because we need to be good to ourselves and be good to others around us and wear a damn mask. Vaccines have been going out, which is phenomenal to see, but we're not out of the woods yet, all right? So keep doing what you're doing, staying safe, social distancing, wearing a mask, and being kind and courteous to others because Lord knows we need that right now. Have some respect for each other. We all share this planet, okay? My guest today is a phenomenal person, phenomenal man, who is part of the band Tearjerker. And Tearjerker has a new EP out called Deep End. It's available on all platforms. I recommend picking it up, listening to it. Help me spread the word. Micah Bonte is on the podcast, and such a phenomenal chat. And he actually was the one who requested to be episode 420. And since I aims to please, I just figured, yeah, let's do it. So enjoy this episode, and quite frankly, I'm done talking because we need to get into this chat. All right, so everybody sit back, relax, and Micah, take it away. Hello, Micah. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing really well. Nice to speak to you.
It's great to speak with you. Full disclosure, my allergies are angry with me right now. So
Okay.
if you hear an awkward pause, it's me muting myself to sneeze.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's totally understandable. That's that's totally cool. No worries.
It, it's it,
It's
it, it
only as awkward as we make it, you know?
exactly. Now, part of me is just because I love when it comes to the podcast. I do editing, but a lot of the times I like things to be real and have it played out. Part of me is just like I'm gonna leave in all the sneezes. Every single sneeze will be left in. No, I'm just kidding.
It's okay. Yeah, that I like the realness. That's yeah, I like it.
Yeah, but how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing really well. Yeah.
Or I
Okay,
guess this
so it's
afternoon now.
four.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock for me,
yeah.
and I've just been listening to your podcast a bit too. I actually have been for the past little while. I'm such a fan. I feel like we're like it's like surreal, like where you were a voice in my head, and now I get to talk to you.
Oh my God, I am super flattered because I was listening to your music earlier, and you were
Yeah.
literally a voice in my head as well. So,
It's a cool thing. I like that. Oh man, yeah. Well, you always sort of imagine that when you put stuff out in the world, you're like,
mhm.
there hopefully is another person listening to this. So it's nice to like talk to them. Yeah, yeah, it's nice.
Right. Well, okay, so let me ask you this question. You've touched on something interesting about as somebody like yourself who puts things out into the world. Are you ever just like, okay, here it is, go at it, listen to it, let me know, or do you have this sense of nervousness when you put something out?
Oh my God, the biggest nervousness.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I always do. I think I like to think I'm a person who doesn't have the nervousness, but I
Hmm.
totally do. Um, yeah, yeah, I like to sort of, yeah, I like to think about who's listening and what do they think.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's part of the connection. It's the other half of making the music.
Has there ever been a point where you write a song that is super deeply personal to you, and then you're just like, you have this moment of, as much as I love the song, I can't release it because it's too personal, but you do it anyway. Do you ever have those moments?
Sometimes I think, but I like to at least try and obscure that kind of thing.
Mm,
You know, like put a little layer of mystery behind it.
mm, okay, okay. And then another thing that I've been asking people, um, who we're all special in that we're going through this weird time that we're in. That is feels weird saying it's been a year now, but it has been.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it has been. Oh my gosh,
it has
yeah.
been a year. Have you noticed that with the shelter in place and all that, your creativity has gone up?
Yeah, I think it has actually. I think we were kind of making this record with Trevor and Taylor and myself here, and we were thinking about like let's do something different.
Mm-hmm.
We usually record out of our houses in our bedroom, sort of that bedroom rock,
Mm-hmm.
and so we rented a little cottage together and decided to get together and record some stuff, and that was about December. Oh my gosh, time is just not it's not a concept anymore, but
Yes.
it was around December uh, before the pandemic. What are we thinking?
Mm.
2019, and so we put together a few songs there, and then we sort of retreated to our own houses to finish them off. But little did we know that would be sort of the last time that we all were able to get together. So it's inspired creativity. I think it's kind of forced us to, do sit down and confront, finish something and do something. So yeah, it's been a cool challenge, and like I think our creativity generally has been going up.
Mm-hmm. With I was going to be blown away if you said, yeah, we went to a cabin in December 2020. I'm like, wait, you had this album ready to go and in 3 months? What? I was going to be blown away. But
Yeah, no, not exactly. Yeah.
yeah, but so did having that extra time to just kind of tweak the songs out to your desire, was that beneficial for you guys, or was it just like, look, we're gonna just kind of leave these alone for now and come back to them later?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I think it's a bit beneficial. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to sit down and think about it and not have to be under the pressure of, I don't know, any particular deadline other than your own sort of creative whim. So I think it's nice to sit and let it breathe a bit instead of just rushing it out and saying we have to get this done or having some sort of false deadline.
Mm-hmm. What was this supposed to come out earlier than than it is?
Interesting. I don't know, like because we're not really on a label, we
Gotcha.
kind of control our own release. So we just kind of we were able to talk amongst ourselves and sort of say, when is this, when should we decide that it's done, essentially?
Right.
Because what we often do is we we'll start with a little demo idea, one of us, and then send it around, and Trevor may add drums, Taylor may add some guitar, bass on top of a demo that I've been doing, and then we bounce it back for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always a little battle of who wants to kind of get the last word in or the last instrument in, and sort of call it a day on it. So
Right.
it's hard to say. Like, so it's actually pretty interesting because we've had the experience of being with a major label or a big label, and then releasing stuff like we're doing right now independently, and it's it's up to you. It's a new world you live in.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of whether it's writers self-publishing or musicians releasing stuff directly to fans. It's not as lucrative maybe as it once was, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely, the freedom is really interesting. So it's like, not having a curfew, right? Like, when do you come home, right? Or when do
Right.
you
Right.
release a record? So yeah, it's interesting. I love the freedom, even just to get to speak with somebody interesting like you, who's been putting out a really cool podcast into the world, and there's no barrier to doing that. You just can be a good person and put out good quality content, and people will like it.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. Um, it's I mean, I've always been independent. Obviously, I've always just done things my way because that's all I know how to do. But it's just been interesting that when the pandemic first happened, I was talking with people that it's just, what's it like releasing something right now? And all of them were just like, it sucks. It's weird. It doesn't feel right. And obviously, live events are
Yeah.
important. I love them. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you love going to them, but also performing.
Yes.
And
Yeah. They're
it's
amazing.
and I feel bad for the bands that are like, here's new music. We can't perform it yet, but you wait. Um, but yeah, so I mean, and of course, I want everybody to stay safe. But yeah, I feel for all you artists that are just like, at least we have the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that is one sort of safety net or a lifeline that I guess all artists or musicians have had. But I'm right with you there. It's such, like, it's tragic. I mean, there are venues even in this city in Toronto that are, that have seen all of the legendary bands come through and that are not going to make it through.
Right.
So I'm right with you. Yeah. It's always good to have that perspective of, this is a really strange time, and we're all just kind of doing our best. And there's this weird dichotomy of, it's strange and there's so much suffering, but you still want to try and be positive for the people around you and be
Right.
strong, and because people are expected to keep working and keep eating and keep taking care of their families. And so yeah, it's a very interesting time where it makes you really contemplate what you should be thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a readjustment of those types of things. The sound guy at the Silver Dollar is an important person in a lot of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely, it keeps yeah. Thank you for saying that. It's definitely good to keep that in perspective.
It's and that's the thing that um, I've always been very aware of. People behind the scenes and stuff like that. That yeah, maybe the sound engineer or the guy running the sound equipment, he doesn't get enough credit, but he's still involved. Hopefully he's doing a good job and not making the mics crackle. I don't know. I don't know the terminology, but still.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, that's what makes the world go around. You got to hook up the sound guy, make sure he's got enough, beer and pot, and he's got to be one of the happiest guys if you're gonna have a good live show. Or girls, by the way.
Yeah.
There's most of the best sound engineers have been female.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. As far as the album goes, is there, and I don't want to keep talking about live performance, but I am super interested in, is there a song off the EP that you're excited to play for people?
Oh, yeah, I think it's called Deep End. It's the last track on it, and it's kind of really long. It might be the longest track we've done, or at least one of them is about 7 minutes long. And we worked with a friend of ours, Goche, and she just made a video for it, and it's really fantastic. It's this really nice, beautiful, long song that kind of got started at that little cottage vacation in 2019. I got that straight again. I lost track of time. Years, months, days, weeks, doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, it's sort of, that was, the seed was planted there, and that's kind of, that was, as we talk about, like, when is the project finished, like that was kind of the starting of it. And then, the last track on this little release of ours called Deep End. And I think that will be, that's the ending of it. So I'm really excited. It's kind of got, it's got a lot of feeling to it. So.
And, and I don't want to, I know you guys, have been working on this, but as far as, everything that's been going on, do you feel like that has informed your music writing process today? Like maybe you want to do something for the next EP or the next album that you want to accomplish, that you want to say something?
Absolutely. Like, I think, like, again, just the nature of what's going on. I don't know. And you say it actually on your podcast. I've heard you be good to others,
Yeah.
like that. I love that. Like that's just so nice. So if we can just kind of carry that spirit, like there's nothing preventing us from just making good music and being good to people and being conscious about what we're putting out in the world. And even just a few partnerships we've made. We put out a couple EPs on Bandcamp called Found Songs Volume 1 and Found Songs Volume 2. And some of the proceeds, or all of the proceeds from those releases, we donated to the Black Legal Action Committee on Volume 1, and then Native Women in the Arts here in Toronto on Volume 2. So, and that was part of a Bandcamp thing where it's called First Fridays, I think, and they waived their revenue share of record releases and sort of let the artists have it all. And this is not a primary sort of job for the boys in the band here, so we're kind of just trying to put that good stuff back into the world and connect people who are listening to our music with the community that we care about locally here.
Okay. I mean, that's, I'm glad that you are taking, steps further to support individuals and different cultures and all that good stuff. And it's, and you meant, the podcast message is something that I started this year, obviously, with everything that's been going on. I had this moment of, for the longest time, I've done this podcast for, I'm in July, it's going to be 8 years. But that entire time, I was just kind of, I don't want to talk to anybody from politics or religion, because I don't want to ruffle any feathers, because that was never my MO. And I feel like it's my age where now I don't care. Things are bad, and why shouldn't we treat people like they're people? We're all the same deep down. Sure, we have different life experiences. We may live in different places, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. And it just made no sense to treat other people like crap. So and that's when I started to get more vocal and just it's all upsetting, the things that are going on, and I feel bad for staying quiet as long as I did, but um, there came a
I
point
don't think
where
you should feel bad. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think you should feel bad. That's not something to feel bad. It's never sort of too late, not to say you weren't doing it, but to do the right thing and to at least put more of a focus on it. So
right.
that's the way we can all collectively get better as a society, no matter what kind of headwinds we're facing. Good people will sort of gather up and do the right thing. I think we can trust that, and the more we can put that out there in the world, the more it will happen. So I love it. Like that's it's just a nice thing. And you can talk to actors, and some great actors I've heard you talk to, and musicians, just super talented people, and that can be one of the underlying things that is there, but it's, it doesn't have to be the primary focus. And I know politics and religion, and especially if you're in Texas, I believe,
Ugh.
San Antonio.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well,
Ugh.
no, I mean, it's hot button stuff, but there are great people there, just like you, and
Yes.
there are thousands and millions of great people everywhere, and so yeah, we can all just support each other. So I think it's a cool message. I mean, and it doesn't have to get caught up in music, or athletes who don't just have to sort of shut up and dribble, or anything
Right.
like that. It can just be who you are. Like there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
And that has been the nice thing of seeing, like you mentioned, like athletes, anybody who has a platform is just like, look, we got to speak up about bad things that we see, things that we don't agree with. And that's also another part of, being an individual is we all have a voice, and depending on, where you are, you can decide what you do with that voice. And that's why I was like, you look, I'm not, I don't have as many voices as LeBron James, but I do have one. So let me voice it. Let me talk about it. So
Yeah. Sounds perfect.
well, thank you. I'm glad I'm glad I'm glad you appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just talking to you though. I don't want to talk to everybody right now. I was just
That's a good point. Yeah. That's
kidding.
Radio 101. Yeah. Yeah, I
Exactly,
got
exactly.
you. I got you.
No, but so I'm curious, about the album again because I listened to the album and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a beautiful album, but I love knowing as far as the EP goes, was there one song that was harder to crack for you? Whether it was the music or the lyrics, just took a bit more extra time to figure out.
Ooh, that's good. There's a song called "Be You," and it's coming out. I don't know whenever, but it'll be around. And it's sort of, we got into this sort of spooky, ghosty alien type of vibe, and I wanted to sort of implement that in some way and just pay tribute to the kind of vibe we were going for as we were making the record, and kind of in a, like I say, like a spooky cabin and kind of a lockdown basement bedroom kind of dark vibe. And so it's called Be You, and it's got a lot of words to it. I mean, one characteristic, excuse me, of our music is that, we repeat the same refrains a lot, but this one's got a lot of words. So yeah, I battled a bit with it, but it's a cool little tune. It's one of those ones, and I think all of this record might just sort of get stuck in your head a little bit. You might be murmuring it for the rest of the day, kind of while you're doing the dishes.
If you've ever need something to listen to while you're doing the dishes, do I have the album for you? Can you put that on the album as a selling point?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Dishwasher approved.
What is the term you used earlier? Bedroom rock?
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
that? I don't know what that means. It's really hard. I struggle with all the labels, but yeah.
And so you have that, and now you have dishwasher rock. where it's just, you know
Oh,
what?
dude, that's actually perfect. Exactly. I mean, I've worked a lot of crazy jobs in my life, and one
Yeah.
of them has been, actually two of them have been dishwasher jobs at two different restaurants.
So
I think I got
no
fired from
wonder.
both of them.
Oh, I was gonna say no wonder you injected that into your music because you know you got that experience, you got that life experience.
Yeah, there's a certain groove you got to have while you're washing dishes. You know, if you can imagine a little hip shake and elbows.
There we go. That is now that is the sound, the title of the next song, "Little Hip Shake."
A little hip shake.
Little hip
Yeah, all
shake.
right. All right. I'm taking notes.
Yeah, go ahead. You know, I don't. I'm not a greedy person, so I'm not going to come after you for royalties or credit.
Okay.
I just make it sound good. That's all I care about. Just make me dance.
Okay. Perfect. I'll send you a private SoundCloud link
Thank you.
in
I
about a week.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. But so, if there's one thing I love hearing about, um, is I love a good horror story, a good fail story. And I'm wondering, in your case, do you have a gig horror and or fail story?
Ooh, it's. I mean, everybody's kind of probably got one because there's so much. At least for me, there's so much riding on a gig. We don't
Yeah.
play a ton. We sort of haven't toured a ton, but so there's a lot more riding on it. You know, you rehearse, and you spend all this money on an overpriced jam space. At
Yeah.
least here in Toronto, but then but there was, again, I think I'm going to shout it out for the second time, the Silver Dollar. But there was sort of the pedals that I had, you know, meticulously practiced for weeks. Didn't plug in the plug, you know, whatever. Probably the power cord just turned off, the little flip switch or whatever. And then I busted a string too on the first song. So you know, everybody packed house, and no pedals and a busted string. But we made it through it. Actually, I just watched a video of it recently, and it's not as horrific as I imagined it. I guess that's the thing too with performing live. People generally understand. They give you a lot of leeway, and it's actually probably just more real to have a bit of a horrific moment, provided you don't you know, do anything illegal or something. But
Right.
you know, it's that's what it is about live music. And I think what most people miss is it's not, you know, you could put a live YouTube show up on 4K of your favorite band, but it will never be the same as, you know, the chance of a band having their worst screw up or the craziest live moment. So, yeah.
So, what do you do when you break a string? Is it just like, well, I'm not playing in this octave, or like what do you do?
I mean, I'm not a good enough guitar player to even tell you how to adjust. You know, you just
Yeah.
kind of you blow a tire and you just hope you get it to the next exit. I guess I played with it but it was fine. I think it was, you know, it was the A string, so I could kind of work my way around it. So. You don't want to blow your G string. That's
Gotcha. Yes, of
something you don't
course.
want to
Of
do.
course. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's one thing that comes out of this podcast, don't blow the G string.
Okay, I like it.
So I mean, I play drums, and the idea of breaking a drum, like I can't do anything. So I'm always amazed when somebody's like, "Yeah, I broke a string. I kept going." Like, how do you keep going? Like, don't you need one of those 6 strings? Isn't that the whole
Yeah,
point?
that's true. That's true.
So-
Yeah, I guess now that you've mentioned it, now it's in my mind. If it happens again, I'll probably just break down, cry.
Oh no. Let him
So
restring real
you're a
quick.
drummer. I didn't know you were a drummer.
Yeah, I've been drumming for, I want to say it's like 18 years now.
Okay, because I was
Yeah.
doing my homework on you.
What did you
Maybe
find? I'm
are you?
curious.
Oh, I found a lot.
Oh
No.
no.
I know that you were, because I know you like the sort of Portland, sort of Northwest.
Correct.
Actually, you have a Canadian connection. Do you have a Canadian connection? I thought I heard that
I
in a podcast
100%,
once.
yeah. So I'm originally from
Film
Oregon.
school.
Yes, film school. I went to school in Victoria, BC. Go Lions.
Cool. Oh yeah, of course.
Go Lions, go
Of course, go
curling.
Lions.
So
Go curling. I mean,
go. Oh man, I
that's
at the place we were staying at, or I was staying at, there was no laundry, so I would have to walk down the street towards the laundromat, and there was always curling on, and I would just sit there and watch it and just be like, that's what I want to do. I love that sport, and I always look forward to it during the Winter Olympics. That is the sport I will watch.
Me too. It is quite good. I mean, I know it's cliche, but
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple great things. I mean, of course, just beyond the brooms and
Yeah.
the rocks, but you
Right.
can shout. You can really
Yes.
shout,
Yes.
and it's totally accepted. You know, shouting at anyone, you're sort of shouting with your friends, trying to get the hit the button, as they call it. No, it's great. It's great. I mean, okay, so curling. I mean, you know, it is very Canadian, but I don't know. I think we could be proud of that.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. And yes, it's just the amazing thing. I remember when I was first, I had just gotten out of film school, and just watching it on the Winter Olympics and just seeing just people get angry and just start yelling and shout like that is the best. And yeah, no, and that, and I never understood hockey until one of my buddies from Calgary was explaining it to me, and how coordinated the fighting is. I was just, oh, so they're actually allowed to go at it with each other? He's like, yeah, as long as you do blah, blah, blah. And I was just, oh, okay. So it's just like, yeah, yeah, go ahead and fight. Get out your aggression. You guys done? Okay, let's get back to the game. And I was like, that is just such a polite way of dealing with things.
Yeah, I guess now that you put it, maybe it is a sort of polite or orderly, at least, way
Mm-hmm.
of dealing with it. It is pretty, you know, severe to sort of be flipping through the TV and then just seeing a couple bare knuckle dudes, like huge
Yeah.
guys too. I mean, I think there was an era where it was much more prominent in hockey, but it's definitely, you know, some sanctioned violence. It's you know, it's not for the faint of heart, but it is, you know, it does settle the dispute, it keeps things in order, and everything moves on, and we have our hockey night in Canada, and everything's fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like, okay, I just, I picture just a mother just like, nah, let them fight. And they'll tire themselves out. And then, okay, let's break them up.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's very animalistic, sort of very, very law of the jungle, I guess. You know,
it is, it is.
I
But,
hear that. Yeah,
yeah. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, no, yeah. So yes, I have deep Canadian roots, and I love Canada. I'm very pro Canada. I talk to my Canadian friends all the time, and I'm jealous of the the I don't want to say sound leadership, but at the time I was like, man, you guys. I would hear COVID cases, and my friend who was in Toronto, like yourself, she was just like, oh man, we had 60 cases. I was like, what's that like? What's it like to have that low of a number? So
Yeah, yeah, it's. I mean, it's just. It's still. It's awful. I mean,
yeah,
there's nothing that you know Canadians generally like say in the Olympics or something. We use Americans as a measuring stick, but in the case of COVID, it's just our heart goes out. I mean, it's. Yeah, and we have our own leadership challenges too,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it does sort of emphasize the interconnected nature of at least Canada and the U.S., but around the whole globe. I mean, if it's a problem somewhere, it's a problem where you live too, or
Right.
at least should be, because there's a lot more connection than I think we even like to admit. But yeah, just culturally and geographically, we're so connected to the states,
Mm-hmm.
and there's sort of nothing good in the notion that we have more or less cases or vaccines are going better or worse. It's just any bad news there is bad news here.
Right, right, right. And it once again proves the thing I've been saying is that we are all connected. We're all human. We're all connected. We're all in this together. So
Yeah, totally. This has definitely brought that into sharp focus. We definitely And I think more things will, more things that affect the world, like climate change and everything. So
Yeah.
I know it's not a time to get necessarily overly political, but it's important. It's good. You have a good voice and a good stage, and there's nothing wrong with being aware and being cautious.
Well, yes, I appreciate everything, and I've really enjoyed chatting with you. But for the people at home who want to keep up with everything that you guys are doing, pick up the album when it's available, or just keep support you, keep in touch. Where can they do all that online?
Yeah, tearjerkerband.com. So it's me, Micah, and Trevor and Taylor. We're just three sort of small town buddies, and made a band, a long time ago, over a decade ago now, Tearjerker. We have a bunch of stuff out. And so tearjerkerband.com or tearjerkerband on Instagram and social and everything. And definitely just Tearjerker on Spotify and Apple Music. And our new release, Deep End, just a bunch of cool little tunes we liked, and we hope you guys like them as well. And it's just really cool to get to connect with you, Chris, and all of your listeners, and just good people. So, yeah, Tearjerker, check us out.
There we go. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. Anytime you want to come back and just, I don't know, have a good chat, polite chat, whatever chat, I'm happy to do so.
Oh, Chris, me too. I will continue to be a fan of yours.
Aww.
And I think we got to talk maybe Portland rock music, indie rock. I want to talk movies too. I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
I want
yes.
to know what you've been watching, and so definitely I would love it. I know you're somewhere around, in the early 400s. So if I'm episode 420, I'll be forever grateful. But if I'm not, I will also understand. But I would love to come back, and it was really nice. I really appreciate you.
If you want to be 420, I can make that happen.
Okay, well, listen, I leave it in the hands of the universe, but I do appreciate it very much.
There you go. Yes, we'll have to chat soon, or more about it. We'll just chat. We'll just chat in general. But I'll let you go. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep making good music that I can listen to, whether I'm washing dishes or not. All right.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and keep doing your great things too. Appreciate it.
Thank you. But yeah, have a good rest of your day. All right.
Okay, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.